observational notes. Simon will talk to you later on how he observed things in Shanghai Street down to the minute level. And then he has to take notes of very detailed kind, drawings, words, who talked to whom under what circumstances. In an ideal world, when you do training in social research, you would be sent out here and now to do observation outside in Starbucks, for example, and then come back in 10 minutes with your observational notes. Whoever brings back a stack would be the one who has done great observation. Whoever brings back only one page, with only 3 words there, I went to Starbucks, nobody was there, then this is bad observation. You at least should observe there is dead air out in Starbucks, and then you draw the dead air. Then you have to do field notes. But today we don't go into this. Another method would be interview. Very important method. You can go only as far as a certain limit in terms of observation. Because when we do culture, when we try to uncover a web of meaning, the meaning often comes from reflection, articulation, people speaking about their motivation, about their rationale. So at some point when you do your field research, you have to open your mouth and let other people speak to you on certain topics of your interest. Reconstructing a web of meaning through interviews, you do 2 things. One is extensive questioning. Every aspect of the ordinary life of that person in the community, you would want to look at. You also want to do intensive questions. In that, not only would you want to cover how a person wake up and then spend the next 24 hours in life, you need to ask them why and how that compare with things that they did a week ago, a month ago, 1 year ago. In that sense, you want to draw up linkages of an intensive kind, picking up the meanings. So interview is a no-nonsense method. You have to pick up a web of meaning by extensive and intensive questioning, spending a lot of time. If you want to take up somebody's meanings over her 80 years of life, that would be oral history. A person recounting her life over an 80-year, 60-year span, how she was born, where she was born, and then go on for the rest of the life events. That would be extensive and intensive questioning over a whole lifetime, very often called oral history. How do you do oral history? How do you do intensive interviewing? The main technique, the main tool is called a memoir, which often looks like this. This is one I used when I did the 16+ oral history interview with the young girls that we came into contact. And what I brought then was something like this. Work our topics around a few big issues, like the original family they came from. How did they live when they were born or when they grew up? 做女嘅感覺 what it is like to be a girl, 教育經驗 education. So 16+ would be girls who are now seriously into their educational experience. So you can see loads of questions concerning education built into this 8 memoir. Why this is called 8 memoir and not interview guide? It is because you won't bring it to the interview situation. You bring it here. Like a Raymond, look, you memorize every details of this interview guide in you and talk to interviewee as if you are in natural conversation. So it is like you're bringing 300 questions there. Then you are just conversing. So this is a technique you have to learn. And then suddenly, that person may talk about the 301 things that you have not thought of before. And you have to invent on the spot and another 400 questions to follow up that 301 question. Oral history is very tiring and never ending because you bring a very long memoir there, but you discard it at one moment and then you invent loads of new questions to follow up on the web of meaning of the people there. You do active listening. Don't talk back, listen more. When students come back with transcripts of their interview, that consists in Q&A, for example, asks one question, and then interviewee answer one question, one line, one Q, one A, that is a bad interview. If you look at the transcript of the interviews, Dr. Ng asks one question, and then for the next 30 pages, Dr. Ng will got up to ask another question. That is a very good interview. You listen, you don't interrupt, you don't talk, let them talk. It is their life, it is not your life. The web of meaning, they spill out to you, not you impose on them. So, at some point you need probing like silence probing and noisy probing, all sorts of techniques. We don't go into there. When to write notes immediately, how to transcribe as full as possible. The last thing we can use in research of this kind is to use documents and artifacts. Not only observe, not only interview, but to pick up telltale signs in the community that may help you to enrich your understanding of the web of significance in that community. So nowadays we pick up a lot of live documents, like diaries, like letters, like manuscripts. When people cannot say things or when they forgot to put down things in an interview, very often they could be rediscovered in their boxes of letters and diaries. Very often we also ask respondents for photographs, which may record different stages of their life. Sometimes we bring our own camera and do creative recording, photographing a city, photographing the inhabitants of a community, and then do some intelligence analysis based on the series of photographs that we may accumulate. In some of your readings, like the one by Beck and then the one by Sutra, they gave you two different ways to use photographs to really study a community. One is to do it the microscopic way, taking personal portraits. The other is to do it in a macroscopic manner, taking wide-ranging photos of a city over time, say over 10 years. You go to Shanghai Street and then take photos. Compare photo A, the same spot, with photo B of the same spot 10 years later. You can chart the whole change in terms of the texture, shapes, colors, and atmosphere of the entire street. And then you can bring your social history to understand urban regeneration and global changes. Some books to recommend who authors like Camilo Jose Zervera here use the camera creatively in various parts of New York to photograph subways, for example, broken down houses and ghettos, typically over 20 years of time, and then comparing changes to places. Immensely interesting books. He is a sociologist, but he did not do sociology very well, but he did photography very well. So this is some of the works that he did in New Jersey. 1979, 1988, 97, 2004. Same neighborhood, very different look. What happened in between? Did the Urban Renewal Authority step in, or did Donald Trump step in, or did the urban communities themselves renew their place? We can ask questions because we see the textures there. Okay. In Hong Kong, we also did things like this for Leedon Street, taking photos of macro and microscopic aspects of the world. Community Museum Project in Hong Kong also did that. We will skip all those. Lastly, after or in between you're doing the study of the community, you also need to enlist the help of people that stay there as co-researchers, and also in that process make action research a possibility. It is not only you go there as a social worker or as a researcher and then study a community who acted passively out there for you to observe. It is like involving the participants themselves as co-researchers. Not only you take photographs of them, but they take photographs of themselves. And then how and why they take photographs of a particular kind would enable the whole community itself to reveal what they like, what they dislike, what they long for in that particular street. So enlisting people as co-researchers